Today we are crocheting these colorful earrings. We will first make one like this, and then at the end I'll give you some tips for making different kinds using the same technique. We start them here and work this way, and then if you like you can add beads. Here's what you need. First of all, yarn in the colors you like to be using. It needs to be fairly fine, more like thread, and it also makes it easier if your yarn is not very soft. Mine is linen, but it can also be mercerized cotton. Then you need earring hooks, either for pierced ears or clips, scissors, thread, and a small sewing needle. I have beading thread, but you can use ordinary sewing thread. Then if you want to add beads, then you need to have some, either tiny ones, I was using these small ones, or a bit bigger ones. Your crochet hook needs to be small. Mine is 1.5 millimeter. First, cut up 16 pieces of yarn in different colors. I have cut them longer than what they will need to be because it's easier to work like that. These are 13-14 centimeters long, or around 5 inches. 16 of them. Each row is crocheted separately. That way we always get the yarn from the beginning and end of each row too. First, make a tight slip knot and leave a tail and chain 8. Here's 8. We really need 7, but the 8th one is for tying it up. And then cut it, pull through and tighten. So now we have 7 stitches left that we are going to use. Each row starts with a slip knot, and now take 2 of your yarn pieces and this piece of chain that we just made, and set the yarn pieces on top of your chains. Then take your hook and go above those yarns and insert the hook into the first actual stitch there, so that the 2 pieces of yarn are inside the stitch, and make a single crochet. And single crochet in American terms, it's double crochet in British terms. And then you continue like this all the time. These pieces of yarn stay inside, and just crochet single crochets all along here. So this is very easy to make. It's just a little bit fiddly with a small hook and all these pieces of yarn. So 7 stitches like this here. Until the end. Here I have the 7, and then cut the yarn the same length as the other pieces, and make one more stitch so that you pull through at the same time here. So that's where we are now, and wherever these cords are, you can pull them from there. And this is what it looks like from the back side, and this is what it looks like. And this is how we continue. Always work from the same side. The next row will be exactly the same, only we start with this here single crochet. Here I have the piece we are working on, 2 new pieces of yarn that I set above them, and my new slip knot. And then go above it and right into the first single crochet. Again a single crochet around those pieces of yarn you have there. First one, then the next one, and so on until you have 7. Like this until the end of the row. And when you come to the end of the row, chain 1 and cut the yarn and pull through and tighten. The next row is otherwise the same, but instead of going into the first single crochet, we're going into the second one. So this is what's starting to go into a point, into a triangle, so that we are skipping them. So here one, and continuing the same, but this time, because we are starting after the first one and finishing before the last one, we will have 5. 3, 'So that's 5. And then make the next row exactly the same, 1 into each stitch, so you'll still have 5. That's 2 rows with 5 stitches, and then do the same with just 3 stitches. So you start not with the first one but the second one, and then you make 3 and not have any at the very end, and make 2 rows like that. So 2 rows with 3 stitches in each. So there's 3 here, and then we just need 1 in the middle one. Otherwise it's of course the same, just that you need to make it even tighter so that it doesn't come apart. So just 1 stitch in there. I'm making that here. So I have my yarns here, and that's the middle stitch. And tighten very tight, and chain at the end, and then just the same, cut it, and then 1 more into that there stitch that we just made. That's the first one done. Then make another one just like it, and after you've got 2, wet them thoroughly. Just really soak them in water. The reason for that is that it's easier to shape them when they are wet. Then separate the yarns really well and spread them out, and then cut the shape you will want them to be. You can first cut maybe longer and then cut it shorter. Fix it later if you need to. There. And if you want, you can also starch these here tassels, and then let them dry, and then we'll add the hooks. Then take your needle and thread and zigzag the thread so that it doesn't show but that it doesn't come off. And if you are going to use beads, put them into the needle as well, and then pass them through, and then sew the hook to the top. And after you have the hook attached, pass the needle and yarn through the beads again. Tighten, and then finish off the yarn so it doesn't show. And that's it done. Using this way of making these earrings, you can make very many different types. This here one has a different color on each row of crochet, but the yarns that have been passed in through the stitches are all one color. It's still colorful because the yarns from the start and end of each row go there too. Then you can also make them smaller. Instead of crocheting 2 rows of each size, make only 1 row, so then it's half the size only. And you could leave the tassels longer, of course. And another thought that I haven't got an example of, but what you could do, that you would make this rectangular instead of a triangle by having the same number of stitches on every row. Thank you for watching, and check out also this playlist for more crochet tips, and remember to subscribe. Until next time.